John is vegan.
Yeah. Well,
You are vegan.
trying to save the world. Nah,
Trying
John.
to save the world is
I'm just trying to pull some tests on my body.
test that, buddy.
Test it.
I tried to put my glasses on just to see the chat because we just started streaming and I wanted to welcome everybody. And look who's actually typing right now. But I figured out my glasses are pretty freaking dirty, and I'm pretty sure it's thanks to my daughter. She likes to eat them. So,
Yeah.
anywho, I would say welcome everybody. We are live.
Yo,
And
yo,
we
yo.
are with one and only John Rivera. John motherfucking Rivera.
Nah.
How you doing,
I still
buddy?
don't know how I got here, man. In this life. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Dude,
How's
The
life?
life.
How's the baby?
baby's good. She's growing, so. But
It's
enough about babies. Who cares about babies? Yeah, we're back, and what are we gonna work on today? And obviously, you guys can ask questions, and I'm in the meantime gonna clean my glasses so I can see those questions. John is actually reading the chat, so
Yeah.
he's gonna make sure that no questions left behind. You know.
Go unanswered.
Yeah. We're going to try to answer everything. I'll be working on this little project here in the meantime, doing that little Last of Us sort of esque environment. We've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. I think it's time to start to wrap it up and put it in Photoshop. And bear in mind, everything that is happening on the screen is happening in about 20 times slow motion, because normally I work way faster than this. So just don't be discouraged. It might be taking so much that to create these things. It's not. It is faster. So all right, dudes. So what I did found was we've been talking about escalators, and I found this site, and I gotta promote it because it's fucking awesome. The site is called archive3d.net, and it has a lot of 3D assets for free. For free, motherfuckers. So go ahead and download it and use it, and just read maybe some, I don't know, if there's any kind of descriptions whether you can use it or not. Usually there's additional info and resource and like who made it and whether it's free or you need some kind of license. So just go and check. Most of it is just community created assets. You just download and use it. I've been using it for my private work almost every time, or not every time. But like the shoes. Why would I model the shoes when I can just click download and have them in 3D format, ready to go? Anyways, I found the escalator. So I don't need to build an escalator.
Sweet.
And let's actually test it out. Let's see if it works. So it's all those files right here. Woo! I'm gonna hide this little ceiling. And just import it.
So there's already
in
a
here.
question for you. It says
No
how
way.
long? Yeah, already. It's because it. How long would you generally spend blocking things in 3D before Photoshop? Sometimes I feel like I get stuck and spend tons of time noodling the 3D base.
Hold on a second. Can you repeat? Because I'm getting some errors, brother.
Yeah,
I'm getting errors.
how long would you generally spend blocking things in 3D? So he feels like he spends a lot of time noodling 3D base.
I think I would need to know how much real time I have for anything else. You know, like for let's say like the whole project, right? Like how much time I really have for the whole project. Because if my time is limited, then I'll basically just kind of wage in. All right, so I need to create this environment. For instance, let's play along lines this environment, this particular place that I'm creating, this abandoned mall, right? Um, what I would need to do is this. All right, let's say I have only one day to get it done. So what you would see me doing is basically this. I would go in 3D Max, make a box or something, convert it to poly. Whoops. Delete this. Move this back. Probably move this border up. And just create a corridor, right? And then I'll create another box like this. And then duplicate it. And then duplicate those two. More or less. I would not care if they're perfectly in the right angles or whatever. Then there will be my column. My second column. And then both of them together right here. And I would cap this. Probably add like an opening right here and here. Go in here. Place a camera. Boom. Maybe change some camera settings. Make it like 18 millimeters. Zoom in.
Somebody asked when you started
Add a
learning.
light. Hold on, let me finish this.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is what I would do, and add like a little light, and then render. I'm actually gonna use this V-Ray RT render right here, and I wouldn't even set up the materials in the beginning, or maybe I would. I don't know. Like what we could do is to make it easy as possible. What I would do is go in and maybe go in settings. You can actually make the like all materials to be overridden somewhere. I don't think it's in the RT settings though. I think you have to go into production mode. So in essence, this is my scene. I would just render that and go to Photoshop and then go with photo bashing and everything, right? But this is a project I'm doing without any time constraints, and I've been doing this for weeks. I've been doing this for weeks, if not months, and because I don't care. Like I don't have time limits on this, particularly on this one. So I don't really care if it's gonna take me additional time. One thing that is really important when I'm working in 3D is when I'm saving the file, and then if I'm working on something similar, like let's say I'm gonna have another abandoned mall, right? And some elements I can just go in and salvage and reuse. It's saving me a lot of time. But basically, I would just set it up like this. Go into like V-Ray settings. I think there is like a global swatches right here. You can set. There was some kind of override material, and then you basically create, I don't know, like a regular V-Ray material, and then when you render, it should basically give you like almost like a GI render with like ambient occlusion or whatever, and with the lighting information. I would maybe spend extra 10 minutes to an hour. Like I wouldn't spend more than an hour to set it up. I would make a quick setup with the lighting, render it out, spit it out to the Photoshop, and that's it. And then just work in Photoshop only. But we have more time here. We're doing everything almost like baby steps. So I don't really, I'm not really paying attention if I'm doing things correctly or if it's taking longer or anything, because I want to show you every step by step. But it's important to know that that those things basically can take a lot of time or not a lot of time. It can be done really quickly or really slowly. So it's just a matter of how much time I really have. It's just budgeting. You just have to understand like how far you're willing to go with 3D, uh, as long as like so it's helping you. So it's not like you're creating something just for the sake of creating something. Because I found myself doing that a lot, actually. You know, like I gotta create it because it has to be all in 3D, and that's a wrong approach because you're wasting time that way. So that is my answer to this.
This next one says, when you started learning, what helped you not get distracted? Basically, what keeps you on track, would you say?
So one thing that was that I've been doing. Well, I mean, I used to work in a studio environment only, right, for the longest time. So I would be basically hired and work in a studio. And the great thing about working in a studio is that, or great and bad. It can be sort of like a double-edged sword, you know, depending on the what kind of studio you're working with and whatnot. But in most cases, you're gonna have enough sort of like free space to develop things and work on things without being distracted too much. Like nobody will, like you will have moments, or at least a couple of hours a day, where you'll be able to focus without anyone, you know, being behind your back, like, "Hey man, what you doing?" Because that's gonna happen a lot, by the way, when you're in a studio. That's why I hate working inside of studios. That's one of the reasons I really hate working inside of the studios. When I go in a mood of working, get really focused on something, and then some assholes coming over, "Hey, I want to see what you're doing." I'm like, "Get out of here! I don't want you here. Stop bothering me." You know what I mean? Um, so but in most cases, you know, you're gonna have your cubicle or whether it's an open space, you're gonna sit down behind your desk and you're gonna work. Now, working in studio, it's actually because you see people working in the studio, because you see there's like, you know, I don't know, like everyone is working, everyone is doing stuff and basically progressing with the work towards creating a product, right? So you're in that vibe and you want to be productive as well, and you don't want to sit around, and you cannot because you're being paid to actually work. So there's also pressure of the fact that you have to work. Um, so you don't sit around, look at Facebook or news and fucking waste time. You know, you're just gonna focus because you need to focus. So that's a great thing about working in the studio. And when you work freelance, it might not be a case. It might be, you know, when you're working from home, you might notice that you're having a lot of distractions coming from, you know, different places, and that can be horrifying sometimes because you know, oh, let me check what people are writing on Facebook, and then 3 hours later it's like, what the fuck just happened? You know, like I just watched some Facebook's cat videos and whatever the shit, and then there was some, you know, more cat videos on YouTube, and then some more cat videos on Vimeo and shit. Like there's so many distractions just waiting for you to fuck up, you know. Um, and it can be really, you know, really stressful and daunting because you just, you know, what you really need to do is be focused, especially because if you're working at home, you're being paid for your work at home. Like nobody will pay you for sitting around. You know, in studio, you can sort of still have like a little leeway, like nobody's watching, yeah, whatever, right? Um, but not when you work, you know, on your own dime. You kind of have to be focused on the work, especially if you decide to take more than one project at the same time. You know, that can be terrible.
So true.
So
She'll
you
eat
really
up your
have to
time.
focus. Yeah, you really have to focus. You really have to pay attention to what you're doing. And so here's the answer on how I really focus. So what I try to do is, hold on a second. Something is going on with my screen. Give me a second. Yeah, there we go. My DVI cable was not plugged correctly, and I was getting some hacker shit on my screen. Um, oh, anyways, so the way I try to focus is first things first. I close my door to my office, which is my room, or whatever. It's a bedroom, or if you don't have your office or room, then get like a noise canceling headphones and put them on. Try to avoid any outside distractions as much as possible. So basically, isolate yourself from sounds from the outside. So if someone comes in to your room or someone comes over to your shoulder and start talking to you, you don't hear him because you don't not because you don't want to, just because you cannot hear them. Um, and that's the thing I do. I close my doors to the office. It's a cue that I'm busy, I'm working, and please leave me alone. I don't want any distractions. I don't want anyone around me. I need to focus because my time is precious, and I just cannot deal with having someone talking to me right now. So that's the first thing I do. Second thing is I try to set up alarms, and actually, I've been failing on this quite often recently. But that's something I've learned from Ash, and Ash actually learned it from Vitaly Bulgarov. Like making a list of what you're gonna do in the next day, and then setting up alarms for those things to happen. So let's say you decide that you need about 8 hours of work to be done on the specific day, right? So you go in and say, all right, so between this and this hours, I'm gonna be working, and then eventually I'm gonna take my break for lunch. So my lunch break is gonna be between A and B, right? Like let's say 1 to 2 or 12 to 1 or whatever the amount of time you need to eat, and then um, you set up alarms. So like when you work, let's say you work for first 5 hours of a day, and you're constantly focused on work, and you're trying to do anything you can to avoid distractions. So basically, don't try to read emails. Don't try to check Facebook or anything. Like avoid the urge of doing those things. Because if you fall off the track and you start looking for distractions, you'll find them. You know. So I try to avoid them as much as possible, and then I try to focus. I tune myself into work, and I think of it. I almost like force myself to thinking, I'm professional, I'm professional, I'm professional. You know what I mean? Like I just cannot fail. I cannot fuck up. And when that happens, I usually get a lot of things done. Now, when I find distractions, I get nothing done. So that's basically what I try to do. And then I have my breaks. Like I'm only checking emails only during the break. You know? I'm only going to check Facebook during the break or during the lunchtime, whatever. Like I try to avoid those things when I'm working. Disable all notifications you can. You don't need them. If something terrible is happening in the world that is directly affecting you, you're probably gonna see it outside your window. So, or you're gonna hear it from someone calling you like, "Hey, dude, what the fuck?" But otherwise, just like you can just tune out. And basically, what I found out over time is the most distractions are coming from devices that you have around you and people. I mean, obviously, people. You're gonna have some. If you work in the studio, that's obvious. You work with a lot of people, so you're gonna have to attend meetings. You're gonna have interrupted work and whatever. But if you have a luxury of working from home, try to take advantage of it, and just tune out. Just disable your phone sound. Remove any kind of notifications that your phone can do, vibrating and distracting you, or just put the phone in a different room. Unless you're worried that there might be like an emergency call from someone that really needs you, then that's a different story. Then you can, have your phone near you. But disable all notifications and remove your urge. I know it's easy to say, but the more you do it, the more you sort of like force yourself not to find those urges, the better it gets. So easier it gets, I would say.
Sweet. Sweet. This one says, any issues so far with Max 2017? Is it better or worse than 16 or 15?
I know it's faster. Like it's definitely faster than 15. I totally skipped 2016 because I only had the issues with it, and I decided like fuck it, I'm not gonna use it. It's causing more problems than anything. One thing that I found out working and generally whether it's related to hardware and software, anytime I have an urge to test something new and use it for work and not having enough time to actually test it and make sure it works, it usually fails and I'm fucked. So if you're working on a project on say 2000 Max 2015, right? And all you need to do in that project, like all the tools that are needed for that project are in 2015 version, don't switch. Please don't do that. Even though I'm I don't have any problems right now with 2017, but man, I've had situations where I made a leap of faith and I regretted it like fuck. So cool.
Cool. Somebody's just wants to make a comment. Says your art is incredible. You are a huge inspiration to me. Thank you for making such incredible art, sir.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to hear that.
What is your next lead squared? Learn squared. He wrote lead squared. Learn squared course. I mean, is it related to characters or environments? I'm sorry, what is your next Learn Squared course?
A little bit of everything.
So I just woke up early to ask this one question.
I'm not gonna say just yet, but the only thing I'm gonna say is on the way. I'm working on it. I'm planning to make it epic and awesome and fucking rad and everything all at once. So, it is on the way. It is in works, but I just don't want to disclose it just yet. You know?
Yeah.
We just need a little more time here.
Yeah, we'll be announcing it soon. This next one says, for natural landscapes like mountains, do you use 3D as well, or is it only for architecture things?
Right now, I'm just using, I don't use 3D. Although those images I did for, let me see, let me go quickly here on my site. Those little images I've done here were done in 3D almost entirely. Oh, actually entirely. So those landscapes were in 3D, and for this I used this little software right here. Where is it? World Machine. And I've been using it like 7 months ago for about a few days, and I actually forgot how to use it. I believe there's a 3D preview. Yeah, there we go. Of the script. So basically, you just create like a script, like a node script of different sort of nodes, and those nodes have like different settings. You have a little preview right here, so you can like change the frequency. There are some offsets. Yeah, something like this, where you have like a little mountain range. I believe you can add like where was it? Like a natural like erosion stuff to it. But I don't remember where was that. Like I think it was scale like you added somewhere here. Primary input. That's a mask input. I don't remember how to do it. I think you have to connect it somehow. Somehow it's connected. I don't remember, man. But I used it for that thing, and the output would not be it could be a height map, which is this, which is already by default, or you can actually output by saving mesh. You know, you can have like a mesh output here. Whoa, I don't even know how to fucking click here. How to connect this? What the fuck? It's failing so hard. David Lesperance did freaking awesome tutorials on Gumroad how to use World Machine. It's pretty rad. But you can also go and learn Squared and sign up for Jama Jerbaev's class for 3D concept art. He's using 3D code to create landscapes with height maps.
Someone asked, have you ever used Vue or Turrigan? Turrigan? For foliage?
I know what it is. I haven't actually yet.
Vue Cinema.
It's a little bit too much work to learn it for me, given like all the other software that I'm using. You know what I mean? So, do you know what I mean? But I know what it is. I just haven't used it yet. I've tried to use it, but with no prevail. So, no avail, whatever you say, however you say it.
This guy said, "Hey guys, asked you a question about modeling a sponge structured object last stream, and no one seemed to know the answer. So I did a little research and found a plugin that does this. It's called Prod3 Durell." He said, "Thanks for the stream." Prod3. Have you heard of it?
Let's look it up.
Here's the links. Well, let me find it first.
Awesome.
Prod3.
Well, there you go. Thanks for finding it. It's rad.
Hell yeah,
dude. Oh, it's like a Cinema 4D plugin.
Cool, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Shit.
Nice.
There's like a little video here. I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, thanks for the research, Dennis.
Damn that music.
Damn, Dennis.
Damn, Dennis. Back at it again with that software. No, it looks awesome.
Yeah, that's tight.
Kudos for find. Yeah, looks pretty rad. Nice stuff. I can totally see like the use of it, you know, especially with like this little dinosaur thingy that was going on there. Oh damn! Look at that.
That's cool.
I'm getting excited, and probably like there's some badass 3D artists watching this. Like, dude, that's so fucking easy. Shut up. I'm like a little child. Oh, it's exciting, man. I like it. And meanwhile, it's just like, yeah, it's pretty fucking straightforward, dude.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, you can make like, especially with cinema, like I can totally see like, all right, let's pause here. You see those like little fractally looking destroyed sort of mesh sort of things, right? Dude, you can add like little atom array. It's probably gonna crash your computer, but it's gonna look fucking sick. If it doesn't crash your computer, it's gonna look sick. But even like this, I mean, this is probably like this. Certainly, you can atom array. You have to just maybe optimize mesh, make it like less like not so dense in terms of how many polygons you see, but yeah, I can totally see a use of it. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, dude.
Mm-hmm. Next question says, do you have any secrets for finding dynamic poses for concept pieces? How much of your poses are photo references and how much are from imagination?
I use DAS 3D.
Do you ever take photos of people?
I do sometimes, but not often enough. But taking photos is definitely one of the ways of doing it, and I would encourage to do that because photo will have all the informations you need. Whereas with DAS 3D, for instance, you know you're maybe not gonna have all the things you need.
Hmm. What's the current trend in concept art that you feel is completely overdone?
Um, I don't know. Go like if you go on ArtStation, I would say we've been talking about ArtStation with Leo recently on the Art Cafe, and obviously, so there's this one thing that happens in art is, and that's normal, and I'm not saying it's bad or good or whatever. I'm just saying it's normal and to be expected. Is there's usually one person that comes up with something brilliant, and then everyone is sort of repeating that for quite a substantial amount of time. And the first person that comes to my mind that have created a system of working that's been used and abused by pretty much everyone ever since is Craig Mullins. He is a master, the first OG of photo bashing. He really is. Um, and the fact is, he always made it look awesome, you know? And he used it for work, he used it for pretty much anything you can imagine. Um, and ever since, everyone is photo bashing. So, I mean, that only shows how brilliant Craig is, you know? Now, and I think that's the trend that is being the most apparent currently. Like when you look at people's work, when you look at artists' work, you can clearly see that everyone is using that, and it's fine. That's expected. The second one, I would say, there's obviously a trend of futuristic looks that are basically very keloid related, which is the style that was that Aaron Beck came up with, you know, and a few other guys. I guess not only him. I'm pretty sure there was other people involved in it, but he was the guy you can definitely attach this very specific style of work with. There's like you see it and like, oh yeah, it's like very Aaron Beck. Um, so I see a lot of that, and there are some people that do quite amazing works with ZBrush, and then there are some that are basically repeating everything that is out there already. So I don't know. I guess there's always going to be trends. Let's put it this way. There's always going to be trends, and there's always going to be things that repeat and are used everywhere by everyone. But and there's nothing you can really do about it. It is what it is, and I am not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. I have no opinion really. The only thing you should really care about is your own work. That's my only opinion here, and how well it presents itself among everyone else's work. If you can say with your full honesty that, dude, I'm fucking killing it, then that's great. That's all you need to do and all you need to hear. And the only way to validate is like how much work you're getting out of it, you know?
And this next question says, do you sketch before 3D?
Sometimes depends on the project, obviously. There's gonna be projects where I'm only gonna sketch. There's going to be projects where I'm only gonna work in 3D. Um, you know, at least parts of it. There've been some films that have done majority of work in 3D, whereas there were films where I almost never touched 3D, and only did sketches or illustrations. There were moments and projects where I didn't even know what photo bashing means anymore because I just didn't do that because I couldn't. So, it all depends on the project.
Toy.
You mean? Yeah.
That's it for questions for now.
Cool. Keep them coming, guys. I'm here to answer them all. So, what am I gonna do here? I think I'm gonna just shell it. Add a little shell modifier, so I don't have to care about some bullshit. I don't have to care about flip normals and anything. I'll just shell it and remove smoothing groups. And the reason is you can see that little shading here in the corner. It's almost like vertex shading. I don't want that. So if you remove smoothing groups, like clear them, it's gonna make everything nice and edgy. Nice and edgy. Alright, let's unhide everything. Let's go to camera 1. That's what I wanted to do. Have like a nice connection here. More or less, at least. I think... Yeah, I have my... Oops. That's the wrong camera. I want to go to Photoshop.
Somebody said paint Overwatch.
Paint Overwatch. I will. Maybe. I want to do some game stuff too. There's so much shit I want to do. And not enough time to do it.
Yeah.
But, one thing I don't want to do, I'll tell you right away, is start something and not finish it. I think that's the wrong approach. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that like this illustration is finished before we jump into something next. So I'm gonna do quick render. Not enough lighting obviously coming in because I've changed quite a lot of things in terms of geometry, which is probably basically not allowing me to have any light coming in, especially this guy. I'm gonna hide it for a second.
Next
Yeah, because I
question
had
says,
this. Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Says, do you see VR painting / sketching viable in film/game pipeline workflow?
At some point probably, but not yet.
Yeah.
It's too early. Way too early.
It is awesome.
It's a nice. It is awesome. It's a nice gimmick. It's still a gimmick. So, and I'm saying this is because it's like Photoshop 1. It's like asking someone to create illustration for an important project, but then that person is saying, I'm only gonna work in Photoshop 1. So, as you see, I don't care about how clean my mesh is in here. So,
someone asked, did you ever paint from life when you were learning? How do you improve painting from imagination?
I painted a little bit, but not enough. I always envied Shaddy and Eitan and everyone else. Oh, here we go. That's why you don't. That's why. Exactly. That's why you don't switch from 2015 to 2017. All of a sudden, it just fucking crashes.
Damn,
Daniel. Well, let's start again. Motherfucker. No, I haven't done enough of life, painting life, and I think I'm thinking of it as like it's definitely it would improve my understanding of colors and everything. But fuck it. It's like at this point, I can only imagine how many things I can do at once, and I'm running out of time to do those things. So I would rather focus on other things, on other projects that I know I have to do before switching to the idea of like maybe just um, maybe I should do some live paintings. So all right, I'm muting my screen just for a second. Just stay tuned. I'm still here. Nothing's going on. I just want to make sure you're not seeing the bad things on my screen. So, all right, we're back. There we go.
Yo.
I don't think I
Somebody's-
lost much. Hopefully to the autosave. Yeah, I just have to remove some shit. All right, cool.
All is good.
All's good.
Nice.
Noise. Noise.
Somebody asked, what happened to Showtime?
Like a lot of things, it just has to wait. It's waiting for its time. I don't paint enough of it anymore. I've been doing a comic book, and I realized that I'm not happy with the story, and I've been rewriting it a lot. Been working on the characters, mostly writing, like understanding writing itself. Um, and I think what I need is, I really need to find and dedicate specific time in order for it to make it happen. Because right now, with everything that is going on in my life, having learned Squared, having work, family, child, like there's a lot of things that I've decided to put priority mark on. And one thing I started to understand pretty quickly is I can only prioritize few things at once. There's no way I can prioritize everything. If I do that, it's gonna fail. So I am definitely not doing that. So I decided I'm gonna shelve it, at least art wise, and do some research in terms of like how I want to do it. Whether I want to do a comic book or maybe art book or whatever that's going to be. Maybe I'm gonna do it on live streams, and I just don't know. I decided just to focus on a story element on that one, and I'm maybe gonna get back to sketches. But again, it's not my priority right now. Although I love this project, is my little baby. I really wish to finish it. I just found out that there are more important things that I need to focus on in my life, and that's a typical that's typical for a lot of people. And I envy quite a lot of artists that have time and perseverance to actually uh, make their projects happen. But everyone has different circumstances. Everyone is having different time commitments, and sometimes you can afford it, and sometimes you cannot. So it's a lame excuse, but it is what it is. It's definitely just sort of like to put it out there. It's not forgotten. Like it's not that this project is not going anywhere. I'm still working on it. I'm still developing it. I'm developing the characters. I'm trying to figure out like one last thing I want to do is release a comic book that is kind of looking cool and it's about nothing really, you know. So I'm revisiting quite a lot of concepts of what those characters are, what those bomber jacket girls are about. Like what is the story behind them. And I'm not a writer, I don't consider myself to have great ideas either, so that's not helping it. But I figured once I have that, nailed down, I think I will know what I'm gonna do with it. And I think I'm gonna do maybe like a short comic book. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Sick. I have a
But
graphic.
I've seen people asking about it, and I really appreciate it because It is really, it's a really important project for me. No, it's, I mean, I love it, and I love the love from community. You know, people that have enjoyed that style of art, and you know those characters and situations and keyframes, whatever I was doing there. Um, I want to continue doing it. I just need to, you know, I need to reconsider how, when, and what exactly. I think it's gonna be a comic book in the first place, like a short story. You know, maybe 15, 20 pages, something really quick, introductory. Just sort of like put it out there and see where it goes from there. You know, who knows?
Just to get started, yeah, that's a good
So
idea.
just to get it started.
Somebody said, I have a graphic design background like Ash with an understanding of 3D and rendering. What are positions within the industry that would be a starting point to do design work when you are not a concept artist or a 3D modeler/animator?
That's a difficult question because that's the question that I cannot answer because I work in those fields that you're not asking about. Like I don't know how to. If I understand the question correctly, obviously, if you wanna, if you have exactly same or similar background as Ash, and you know similar skill set as Ash, then he's probably a better person to ask this question. Um, but if you're asking what to do with your background in order to work in entertainment industry, that's a different question then. And the answer is simple. Like if you understand design, then it's gonna be easy or easier to use it um, to use it in your advantage as a concept artist. That's as simple as that. So I was trying to add this escalator here, and I figured that's a shitty idea because what's happening is basically occluding half of the environment. So fuck it, I'm gonna delete it.
When will the next courses be announced? Any idea on that?
I don't think we can say yet.
Yeah.
We've been so something I've mentioned before, and you know, I'm gonna stay with it. Whoa, what is that sound?
Sorry, that was my phone.
Is one thing we definitely don't want to do is create shitty courses or not take a step further or step towards to make something even better than we did already. So to answer your question, we're gonna be announcing not so far in the future, I would say. You know, you're definitely gonna see some courses. We're definitely working on them. So, you know, it's just like I cannot say whether it's gonna be tomorrow or in a month or 2 or 3 or I just don't wanna say anything yet. We're having pretty exciting number and pretty exciting instructors, really good ones. I'm fucking stoked to what's out there, and it's not even biased. I'm just genuinely stoked as an artist because I'll obviously have access to it.
Yeah,
and
they
I'll
are.
be able to, and I'll be able to learn it myself. And there are some things that I personally want to learn, which is like even like a better sort of like icing on the cake, you know. Um, so I guess that's the only thing I will say for now. You know, it's I would say it's in works. We're making it happen. It's gonna be better. At least we are trying to make it even better than the last set of courses in terms of quality of the courses themselves, and working really hard to have exciting things there too. So that's what I'm gonna say.
This guy said, "What's your favorite intellectual property?"
Um, like my favorite is Ghost in the Shell. I would say without a heartbeat. Second favorite would be Acura.
Nice.
Although I think Akira has better story than Ghost in the Shell. That's my personal opinion. Um, and the third one would be Blade Runner,
Good
which
answers.
is which is not really an IP. That's a name of a film that is based on the Philip K. Dick book.
Uh,
So
Somebody said, do I need to add certain tool sets to be an asset uh, with a graphic design background?
well, I mean, knowing Photoshop obviously is a must. I don't think it doesn't really matter in which industry you work in, or at least if it's related even slightly to entertainment. You kind of need to know and understand Photoshop, I guess. Um, and getting to know 3D, I would say, as well. So
That rendering, that rendering though,
that rendering though.
messes up your sound quality a little bit.
Oh, you say so.
Just a tad.
All right.
Next question says, will there be any opportunities for people to volunteer to help with any Learn Squared related events or activities, either publicly or on the internet to help promote the school?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it's look. If community wants to be involved and help, we're gonna be the last people to say no. Fuck off. Um, it's just a matter for us just to figure out in what capacity we would need help, and in exactly what kind of things we would need help with. And but that's an interesting question. I think it would be sort of this moment where I would say, John, what do you think? I should talk to Ash and Andrew, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Start promoting
No,
through
I mean,
followers.
just yeah, dude. I mean, hearing that you like it so much that the question comes in, guys and girls want to help. Fucking awesome. I couldn't be more happy than that, honestly. Because it just shows that you guys appreciate what we're doing, and it just makes our work easier and more satisfying. Like, we're getting real satisfaction from the fact that we can help. So, yeah, dude.
Start by sharing the awareness.
Yeah. I gotta say, I gotta have to talk with the guys. I'm not the only person making decisions here, so. But that sounds awesome. I mean, we, as you guys know, and I mean, you're already with us here on Twitch. We are doing this for you guys. We're doing this for community. We're doing Twitch, and we're not asking for anything in the return. Like, just the fact you're here and watching it, that's already good for us. It's awesome. Because we want to reach out to as many of you as possible, and whatever we say and whatever we can tell, and if we can nudge someone to make a powerful decision to change something in their lives, that's fucking awesome. That's what we do with our classes, and that's what we wanted to do with Twitch. So, and that's exactly what's happening.
So there's 7 minutes left, and 2 more questions.
We can go a little overboard today. That's
Cool.
fine. Yep. Yep.
I always wonder why everyone uses Photoshop. Isn't GIMP just as good and free?
It's free and it isn't. I don't know. I'm not gonna shit on GIMP because I haven't used it. Maybe it is. I have no idea. I'm not gonna say anything because I haven't used it, and it would be unfair of me to say anything negative or positive about that software. Just by the sheer fact that it's free, I would say awesome. Good for you guys. Just keep doing it. Um, Now, in terms of Photoshop, right now Photoshop costs $10 a month. If you're a student, it's 3 Starbucks coffees. So,
There
I
you have.
mean, fucking get Photoshop. That's as easy as that. So, I mean, if you think three Starbucks coffees can contribute to you getting work, then I guess go that route. But yeah, I mean, Photoshop is so cheap. I could understand like the hesitation, maybe finding alternatives for Photoshop. Back in the days when it cost hundreds of dollars to actually have the license. Right now they made it so fucking easy to use Photoshop. Just to use it. Like it's $10 a month. Like it cannot be cheaper than that, you know? And there's a reason that there's why there is no competition right now. I mean, everyone is using Photoshop, so
Next one says, how many DAZ models do you have in your collection? I have never really used the program much before. So,
I have a
yeah, thanks
bunch.
for your help.
Um, I think there's few that comes with the software. I think the new update when you install, you have the Genesis 3 models, which is like female and male. I used to buy a little bit of that like morphs and like different characters and some assets. And the reason is very simple. Um, I found myself buying 3D assets for the work I do because the amount of time I would spend trying to create those assets myself versus just buying them would not make sense financially. So it's almost like making an investment towards work that you're making for money, right? And also, you can reuse the same assets over and over and over, you know. And obviously, of course, you make something by your own, and it's you can reuse it as well. But imagine a situation where you have to create a character or something, or let's say you have to create a pistol, right? Like your your goal is to have a couple of interesting shots, and you're assuming like the assumption is you're gonna use 3D. That's the first assumption where you have to put in the works here. You have to use 3D because that's the part of the project. So with that in mind, I rather buy an asset that will take me 10 minutes to set up than spend a couple of hours building it, and that's as simple as that. And I have some DAS 3D assets. I have a few characters. I don't exactly remember how many. I used to buy like monkeys and animals and weird shit. But that's because I can pose it and use it in 3D and make like quick sketches, and then like 3D sketches, and then work with them from there. So, um, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna set up materials here. I think I'm gonna just go with the render like this one. Um, can you hear me, John?
Yeah, sorry, I had it muted.
Yeah, I
Uh,
was I was wondering. I was just getting stressed out. Like, what the
sorry,
fuck?
but
Did something
I was
crash?
talking too. I hate when I do that. I ate a banana and didn't want to chew loudly. Uh, next question says, have you used Affinity Designer? It looks like an Adobe competitor.
um, no, no, I haven't. I did not.
Have you heard of it?
No, that's the first time I'm hearing about it. Do you have a link to it?
I could find one.
Yeah, find it, please. Can you please find it for me? For
Damn.
me?
Damn. Looks like a pretty website. Here's the link.
Damn, Daniel. It's a nice website for sure.
Yeah.
Special offer, $39.99. So here it is, Affinity Photo. Um, no, I haven't used it. It looks pretty cool though.
Looks legit.
Yeah, it looks legit. It might be worth trying. I mean, but here's the thing. Like, I need a reason to switch from the software that I use every day, and and I use it successfully, and I'm very used to it. I've been using it for years, and it's super straightforward for me, right? And I need a reason to change. If the only reason to change is because it's new and it has a few more options that maybe Photoshop doesn't have, it's not enough for me. Because the amount of time I'm gonna spend learning it, and and applying that knowledge, is just like, I don't think it's worth it, Or maybe it is. Maybe in free time. Actually, yeah, yeah. I mean, in free time, learning it in free time, and maybe sort of like spending time to actually get it familiar. If it really makes sense, you know. If I would say there's something interesting I've read about startups, which basically says that in order to create a successful startup that's gonna catch like a wildfire, you need to create something as groundbreaking that is 7 to 8 times better than the competition, so that people can flock to it because they're gonna see the value of it. Like, holy shit, like this is legit. If you're creating something that doesn't have that, then it's probably not gonna succeed that well. So, or it's not worth your attention. There's a reason why people are flocking to very specific things. Like, there's a reason why people are using iPhones and Macs, right? There's a reason why you have your favorite car. Like, why are you gonna buy Honda or BMW, even though the other car is better? It's because you're used to it. You've been using it for a long time. You trust the brand, and you just don't want to switch it. Like, maybe the other car is better, maybe it has a little better functions, but it drives differently. I'm not used to it. Like, it's just, whatever. You know what I mean? So I think that'll be one of the reasons why I don't want to try anything as long as Photoshop is working. Unless something comes out there and people are like, holy shit, you gotta switch because it's fucking awesome and it has awesome support and everything, then maybe then there will be a moment to do that.
Yeah, it looks pretty legit though. Never heard of it either. Next question is, I can paint easily from reference, but struggle from imagination. How do I paint badass stuff without reference?
So you're pretty much in the same boat as I do. um, you can, like, I think, like, if you try to paint without references, what's gonna happen is it's gonna suck for a while, but it's like a muscle, Um, if you use it enough, if you use it often enough, it's eventually it will become something that you'll be good at. Like, you might be coming up with shitty ideas, but you're gonna come up with shitty ideas 10 times, and then you're gonna realize those 10 times you came up with shitty ideas, and then that one time you're gonna come up with something that is brilliant, and you're gonna be happy about it. So I think it's that. I think it's just it's a practice, and it applies to a lot of things. Like, practicing makes a work easier, makes you understand exactly the things you're doing right and wrong, especially when you pay attention to what you're doing. If you're just practicing I'm just gonna practice and not give a fuck what I'm doing, then it's unlikely that you're gonna learn anything out of it. But if you really pay attention to errors you made and listen to feedback, and by feedback I don't mean listening to trolls and people that are just being mean, just for a fact of being mean, like, oh, your work sucks, go fuck yourself. Um, don't listen to those people. Like, listen to people that have something meaningful to say and actually give you a good pointers. And not everyone will have that. So, um, but that's I think that's the way you're gonna learn the best. Like, that's the best way to learn. Like, actually making mistakes and trying. And then and sometimes it's never a bad idea to look at references, and even if you look at references all the time, you just have to sort of attach yourself to the idea or disattach yourself from the idea that every reference that you use is very literal to what you're supposed to do. Try to find different angles to what those references mean in your work. I've been saying that before, I think, where you can be really creative in terms of how you look at references. You might look at the texture of some, building or whatever, and you're gonna find a pattern or something in details that that is going to be, you know, um, that is going to be interesting and different and will spark ideas that you never thought about before. I think that's how you're supposed to look at it, I think.
So thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Thanks.
Cool.
Uh, when you get a base from a level design to paint over, do you sketch over it for AD approval or directly do final with your own decision making? If so, what if the art director doesn't like it? Is that wasted time, or is it
No,
wasted?
I tell him to go fuck himself. um,
Fuck you! It's great.
yeah, go fuck yourself, bitch. No, so normally in games, right? When you work in a studio, like what I'm doing right now, it's in most cases you're actually gonna get those assets from artists and designers, right? So you're not gonna have to build that, and and you work on top of that. So that's sort of like the first thing. And in terms of working with art directors, so every art director is different. Um, and sometimes there are art directors that are great. They'll help you. They'll help you to find a way to create an image. They'll ask you to do sketches. Others will ask you to do renders and like go for it. Just do whatever you want. It's totally dependent on the people you're working with. It's every situation, every person is different. So not everyone will be the same. So let's start with that idea. And the second thing is, if someone doesn't like it, it doesn't mean you made something bad. Unless I mean it's literally stupid and ugly, you know. Um, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad concept. It might mean that the idea you had is not fitting the style of what the art director is after. And there can be two reasons for that. One is, or actually a few reasons. One is, and probably the worst one is, you just didn't listen. So you should start listening to what your art director is saying. The second one could be there was not enough references or communication from the art director. And the third one is the assumption of something or some specific look that is out there was fine, but the reality of how things turned out have proven the idea to be bad, and that happens a lot. Which means, let's say our director gives you a task like do an overpaint of this building or whatever, and you do that, and then you guys review it, and you realize it looks like shit. Like, oh my god, it looks terrible. Um, And if it's the third situation, it's pretty easy thing to solve. You just discuss what went wrong, why it looks shitty, and how to fix it. And that's a majority of cases. Now, if you didn't understand what your art director was saying, then you should basically try to clean it up. Like, okay, I want to understand what am I supposed to paint. So let's discuss where did I misunderstood the idea. Like, where was I missing the direction. What am I supposed to do, and just discuss. Discussion will never hurt. um, and the third situation will be when art director's vision is not explained clear enough. Maybe there is not enough references and whatnot. So the most polite way to do is ask for more references, and maybe ask for like specifics, like very specific things. Go through the like a laundry list of things. Um, and then that's going to be much easier, because sometimes especially, I don't know, it's important to know that there are art directors in video games industry especially. They're fucking assholes. They're just having big egos, like, "Whoa, you don't understand what I'm saying." You know what I mean? And unless you're a badass concept artist and you just have power to say, "Oh my god, fucking crashed again," and you have a power to say like, "Dude, shut the fuck up," which in most cases you just cannot say, um, unless you have that power. um, I would say be a polite person. Don't try to find don't try to find reason to have a confrontation, and discuss like, all right, so you tried to explain me an idea, I kind of didn't understand, like maybe provide me more references, or like this is what I was thinking based of what you said. Let's try to figure out like what we can do from here, right? um but yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's the three most possible scenarios. Autodisk. Autodisk crash 2016. Exactly. Don't get me wrong. I love 3ds Max. I love it. It's my favorite software. But damn, it hurts when it crash. I'll be back with the visuals in a second. I'm just trying to load it up. I think I should get like a video, like a cat, like a dancing cat or some shit.
Yeah.
Like whenever something crashes, at least it's entertaining, not like a static screen. What do you guys think about that? I think that would be a lovely
Let's
idea.
do it. Going into another question, it says a lot of people look up to you. Who do you look up to these days?
I look up to a lot of people.
Good answer.
No, I really try to. I always try to find a new source of inspiration, if you will. Like, is there anything that I can find, like anything new that I can find interesting and inspiring? You know what I mean? And often cases I do, and it's usually not in art anymore, at least not entertainment. I tend to find quite a lot of inspiration these days elsewhere. So like fashion, for instance, right? Like if I'm supposed to create some interesting characters, I like to look at fashion. Fashion is great.
That's pretty much it for questions right now.
Let's do some current events, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Let's do it.
I had them all written down, and I accidentally closed out.
No, you didn't.
But yeah.
You motherfucker.
So I mean, I only have really like two that I remember, but one of the big ones was that Star Wars Rogue One trailer. Did you guys check that out? Or it was more of just like a little documentary type show
Oh, like the
of
behind
their.
the scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I might sound like a little controversial kind of person here, but am I the
You're
only
not.
person that
You're
is not
not.
really excited about that film?
I don't know. I don't know.
Am I
I'm
the
really
only one?
excited. I think it looks
I am.
great.
I'm not excited about it at all.
Really.
I was pretty disappointed with the last one, to be honest.
Yeah. I
I
was
thought it was
I was
like,
disappointed at that, but this one I feel like is gonna be good.
all right, if you're saying so.
They're using more like less digital effects, more
Hmm.
like real
I mean,
effects.
all right,
And
don't get me wrong. The last one, like the last one, the you know, what I don't even remember what it was called, dude. It was Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. I
Yeah,
didn't like it. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
I
agree.
didn't, dude. It was like a New Hope, just rehashed New Hope with different
Yeah.
characters.
I mean, I take that
Um,
back. I did like it, but you know, it just
yeah,
wasn't
let's put
what
it
I was
this way:
expecting.
I didn't hate it, but it was far cry from the original series. And
Hmm.
I don't know, it might be a subjective thing to say, but dude, I mean, Strikes Back. I mean, is there any better Star Wars than Empire Strikes Back? I don't think so.
No, no, that is the
I
best.
don't think so.
That is
I
the
don't think
best.
so, my man. And New Hope, even though it was not one of the best, it was still really solid,
Hmm.
and it was really fucking good. And I was totally related to the characters, and like I could totally relate to them. You understood the story arc. Everything made sense. And it's not that the new one didn't make any sense. It was just like there was nothing about the characters that I haven't seen already in all the
Hmm.
other Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
And in one way, it's a difficult thing to do because, um, for once you would be expecting like let's create Star Wars that
Hmm.
are a homage to the original.
Right. Right. Yeah, the Rogue One's gonna have like a whole bunch of different designs for the troopers and all that. Like a whole shitload. You gotta check them out. Really cool designs of their characters and stuff. And then different ships as
God
well.
damn it!
They're like it's beautiful. I think.
Fuck
Um,
you, Autodesk. Fuck you.
you are
No, I love you.
failing.
I love you. I love that software. I love it. I love it. I use it.
But
I use it for all my work. It's perfect. I don't know what the fuck is going on. It must be something in my scene that is crashing it.
mhm.
I hate when this happens. And I'm gonna be frankly honest. It's never been crashing so much for me, ever. And today we're having 3 crashes on the street. Fuck. But that sometimes happens, when you have, a 3D software that has some bugs and doesn't work
Someone
properly. And
said you should
also,
use Blender, man. Blender.
I know Blender is amazing. I know it's amazing. Hey, I have better news for current events, dude. Have you guys seen Arnold talking about Arnold for Cinema 4D?
Arnold? No, I haven't.
All right, let me play it. Let me play it. It's the fucking best thing. Just need to find it. I gonna send it to you so you can post it
All right.
in the chat, but it is the best. Uh, it's called Arnold Does Emily. Check it out. Skip it forward.
Hey there, this is Arnold, your instructor. Today I'd like to show you how you can use the Arnold
Damn,
renderer
that quality.
within Cinema 4D to create a photorealistic portrait of a human face. First, we start by grabbing the assets we need from the WikiHuman project page. Scroll down to the bottom.
All right,
We use the
you
Alembic
get
scene
it.
in the textures. What are you
you
going
get
to
it.
import?
Oh, it's a
Start
full
by opening up
tutorial
Uni-
too. Nice.
No, you just have to listen to it and you understand why it's funny. It's perfect.
I wasn't. I had it muted.
Dude, it's perfect.
I thought the guy was named Arnold. Like I didn't know you were serious about
No,
Arnold
it's-
Schwarzenegger. Oh man. Yeah, I had it
All
muted.
right. All right. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. Next time, don't close your fucking current events,
Yeah,
dude, because
I'm
I want
sorry.
to talk about some news and have some fun here. But we talked about Arnold, so it's cool. It's cool. So my 3ds Mac crashed. I'm gonna load it up. Whatever you've seen on the screen, I think the last few render attempts, I'm just basically gonna render it out, and then on the next stream, we're gonna go straight to Photoshop with that render, and do only Photoshop work. I'm gonna skip doing any more work in 3D for a couple of more streams, or at least for the next one. You know, I want to work on that scene and actually show you meaningful results, because I've spent quite a lot of time in 3ds Max working on it. And I think it's enough. I think you guys, you know, got a gist of what I'll be doing. And again, normally it would not take me more than an hour, maybe 2 hours, you know, to spend like the 2 hours total in Max, you know. Like everything we've done so far would be probably an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then I would render it out and put it in Photoshop. But we're doing it step by step. We're having fun and talking.
Someone said you
talking
said
shit,
that
and-
last stream.
Ah! Shut up. No, but this time I promise. I promise. Hi, this is Arnold. No, I promise. We'll jump into Photoshop on the next stream. So, and I'm not gonna jump back to that. Oh, I mean, we're gonna do it later on. We're gonna get back to that. Beyond the Black Rainbow ish kind of stuff, and try to figure it out, like how we can make it as realistic as possible and shit. But I want to get this finished first. You know, I want to have that abandoned mall concept done. I want to show you how I work with it, and how I take this render and how I actually put it together in Photoshop and what I do there. So we'll do that together on the next stream. And next stream is exactly same time as this one, 6 p.m. Friday next week. So I'll see you guys there. All right, let's wrap it up.
See ya.
We had some good times. I've been testing some more new hardware.
Stupid crashing.
Stupid crashing. Eventually, I plan to incorporate webcam. Woohoo! You're gonna see my fucking face for once, and you know, if that face is gonna be scary, then I'll disable it. So, all right. See you guys next week. Cheers.
Alright, see ya. Bye.